Welcome back to the Profits of IT, where the people who actually run IT companies come to share what's working, what's not, and what they wish someone would have told them 10 years ago. I'm Jim Punzenberger, and I built this podcast for one reason. MSP owners deserve to talk and hear talk from real operators, not just recycled conference keynotes. And if you're an MSP owner whose real strategy is basically crossing your fingers and waiting for the next referral, you're not running a business, you're running a lottery ticket. ManageProspectingSystem.com is a system I built after owning and selling my own MSP because I got tired of the feast and famine cycle. It's 3 pillars: authority content that makes you the obvious choice, LinkedIn outreach that gets you in front of decision makers who need you, and email campaigns that get replies because they're built on strategy. It's all done for you every week. Check out ManageProspectingSystem.com and trade the pull tabs for a pipeline. All right, today's guest is somebody who's lived something that's a lot like other MSP owners. Think about but haven't experienced themselves. At 23 years old, after his father passed away unexpectedly, Ari stepped into the role of CEO at CNS DATA. He didn't ask for it, he didn't plan for it, but he took the reins, and in 8 years, he helped triple the company's revenue while cutting the workload in half. And it's not just a business story, it's his life story. Ari, welcome to Profits of IT. Feel free to say hi to the audience.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me. Happy to share my story. Happy to share anything anybody can use to help them along the way. Definitely had our ups and downs along the way. Hopefully we'll come out with some cool little nuggets today.
I appreciate your willingness to share.
Absolutely.
Well, Ari, let's jump right into it. And I'd like to talk about what I like to call a truth bomb. And Ari, yours first one is something that every MSP owner has heard from a client, and it drives most MSP owners insane. The industry truth you challenge the most is the perception that people hate IT guys. Why do clients say that, and how do you fight it?
So I think that the stereotypical concept that everyone hates the IT guy is unfortunately because there's a lot of, companies just like us out there that only show up when there's a problem, right? And clients don't hear from them along the way. It's really just, hey, when something breaks, they call them. So as much as you claim to do managed services, essentially you're just break fix on a monthly retainer. And, we strive to be different, and there's a lot of talks about, the SEO concept and being proactive, and it just became slang and jargon that nobody really cares about. I believe that the real difference is by really showing up for them when they're not necessarily in need, right? Showing them differences, showing them how you could be more productive for them, finding ways where you could add value to them when they're not expecting it. That changes that stereotype, at least for our clients. And they look at us more as a partner opposed to just another vendor. Right. I talk about that all the way in the beginning at my sales process, all the way through servicing them along the way. It's how can we be of service to you, not only in your stereotypical thought process of my printer doesn't work, can you create me a new user account, my network is down, so on and so forth, right? You got to find different ways to stand out and show them that you're really there for them. And that kind of changes that mindset for them that it's just another IT guy.
And you also mentioned that most MSPs overcomplicate the experience. You said, I think that's something that you mentioned when we talked earlier. And
Yeah, essentially the overcomplicating is when you think, MSP owners are technicians first, right? They started out the tech, they grew, got to a certain point, they're trying to get past that, and they can't get out of that technical mind. So when they're talking to prospects or clients, they're going into the weeds. They don't care. They really don't. They don't care about all those little nitty-gritty things. They don't care about how you're going to get it done. They just want it done. So I think that by number one, when you're talking to clients, you're overcomplicating things, but also even when you're doing the work, right? Like I deal with this always talking with the technicians in their notes, right? Either they're under note taking or they're over note taking or they're not note taking, right? It's about getting the point across in the most layman terms as possible. It allows you to move faster. I mean, I'm doing this now with one of our VCIOs, almost training him how to talk to executives, right? Because he's going into the weeds and he's sending me like 3-page paragraphs, three paragraph documents of, how he wants to send it to a client. I'm like, no, shrink it, shrink it, shrink it, shrink it, shrink it, right? It's almost like an executive wants to hear bullet points, right? What do I need to know?
Yes.
And move on, right? They don't want to read an email that takes up their entire screen. It's too much, right? So break things down, dumb it down, only give the most critical bullet points needed. And usually that's enough for them to help make decisions so that you can move forward with what you really want to do for them. They can't get involved in the minutia of how to make that decision. You got to just give them the key points.
That makes sense. So, all right, let's shift gears for a moment. And I'd like to talk about your superpower. And Ari, I think yours is one that explains that headline stat, triple revenue, half the workload that you mentioned. Or I guess I mentioned it earlier in the introduction. And ultimately, it comes down to automation. How did automation become your superpower?
So that's actually something more, I would say, within the recent time frame. I would say within the last 6 to 12 months, we put a lot of effort in automation. Automation has honestly simply allowed us to, yes, we've scaled, we tripled revenue, half the clients that came before the automation, but what allowed us to kind of continue to grow without over hiring was that automation. So at this point, we put a big focus on automating things from support. I would say we're on average about 35 to 40% of our support tickets on a monthly basis have been automated. Essentially zero technician touches at all. It's 100% automated. And what that allows us obviously to scale, bring on more clients without having to hire more in support because the existing staff can handle more. And now we're taking it to that next level. We're putting it into operations. We're putting it into security. We're putting it into projects. We're now taking automation parts of the business that need that level of help, right? We saw support being the biggest one that has the most pain and the most painful for clients, right? It's customer facing. We took that as an initiative to start with that first. Huge amount of successes. We start off with little wins, right? Don't try to build some automation that's going to take you 3 months and then it's going to be this big wow factor. Those things end up taking 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Start with the little ones. Start with one that you can knock out in a couple of days or a week, and then compound on that, right? I always tell my guys, it's like, this is version 1, just get it out, right? There's always a version 2, there's always a version 3, 4, and 5. You'll make it better, get something out there, get some value out of it, and then build on that over time. I was just talking to one of my staff last week, and they were I asked him, like, on average, how much time are they spending in different functions of automation and AI and all these things, and he's like, yeah, a majority of his automation now is revisions, right? It's not even net new ideas. It's just making the existing ones better, more effective. The automations have added features into them, and we're reaping so much more reward now because we didn't wait for it to be perfect to get out there. Just start. Get something out there, start reaping some reward, and it will grow with you over time.
Yes, excuse me. But the so basically the thing is just get started with your automations. You have to start and then um, improve them over time, as it sounds like you did, and you guys are doing at CNS.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, what else has you excited at CNS Data?
We're I'm one of those weird guys that embrace change. People hate it. I love it. I'm crazy. But I'm always constantly looking at what's new in the industry and I'm trying to stay ahead. I really don't get stuck and bogged down in the past, right? You had your security, you had your automation, you had now is AI. There's always something going on. And I'm always trying to stay ahead and talk internally with my staff and then externally with the clients about these things on a regular basis. And it kind of, I think that's what keeps us ahead. My dad ran the company. He always to say that we're on a very short runway, right? And you got to either take off real quick or you're going to fall off the edge, right? It's just the nature of it. So it's the nature of the beast, the nature of our industry. You're always running super fast, and staying ahead and not being afraid of that change and stuck in the old ways, I think is what really allowed us to excel and to surpass our expectations.
And so, what else is something that you guys are working on that has you excited specifically?
So it's going to tie into automation and AI because that's what's new and up and coming right now. But essentially, we've been doing a lot of this automation internally, and we're hoping by the end of the year to have ourselves in a position where we're actually not only automating the way our clients interact with us, and support and those type of things, but actually going into their businesses and learning, what are their day-to-day processes and how can we automate that? How can we implement AI for their businesses? Right? A lot of companies out there are just signing up for subscriptions of either Claude or OpenAI or you name it, and they don't really know what to do with it, right? They're using it as a chatbot,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very expensive chatbot if you're going to buy those enterprise versions. So we're looking at ways that how can we actually implement it into our clients. So I'm actually now in the process of doing just going around doing in-person visits with all the owners, not as like a VCIO with that like more of like an open discussion, right? Where we're just poking the bear a little bit, right? What are you thinking of? What do you want? What can we help with? What can be automated? And we're coming up with some really cool ideas from clients. We're gonna have to put a lot of them together, and some of them will custom build for clients. Some of them will build as a value add, right? If it's something that can be replicated across the client base, we'll create it as a value add, right? And I'll use that to enhance our differentiator. But we're really excited for that because I think that is the next level of where the industry is going to take us. I don't believe that in 5 years' time we're going to be sitting here talking about the same things and
Mm-hmm.
how many people you have on support and what's your fastest response time and all that stuff. It's going to be all automation. It's going to be AI. It's going to be strategic advisory. It's not going to be your typical IT guy stuff, right? That stereotype of I hate the IT guy. There will be no IT guy, right? There'll be technology consultants, and who knows? Maybe we won't even be called MSPs anymore. Who knows? But it's the world is definitely changing.
Yes, it's a fascinating time in the IT space.
Yeah.
So if you pique somebody's attention and they'd like to get in touch with you, what would be a great way of doing that?
Probably the easiest way is email, ari@cnsdata.net. But you can also reach me on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'll probably say those are probably the best two options. I try to respond as quickly as possible. And yeah, looking forward to connecting with anybody who wants to hear more.
So, well, check the show notes. We'll include the email and LinkedIn link in the show notes. Well, Ari, thank you for coming on and sharing.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jim. It was a real pleasure.
And that's a wrap of Prophets of IT. It's been an honor to talk about CNS data with you, Ari. And until next time, stay hydrated and caffeinated. Bye for now.